So my wife's birthday is coming up and I cannot figure out what to get her. Psst, I got what you need, Sally. Lift kit, wheels and tires, catback exhaust. How did you fit all that in your coat? I didn't. Them kitties did. Okay, no, but not only do you want me to get my wife car parts for her birthday, but you want me to lift the Escalade. Do you have any idea what the internet is gonna say? Don't matter. You know the one saying, lifted ride, happy wife. I don't think... That's the problem, Sal. You don't think, and you shouldn't. Just buy them. Do it, do it, do it. All right, fine, I'll do it. Your wife will love it, I guarantee it. Just like the time you guaranteed that environmentally sustainable all-natural motor oil. That was a manufacturing defect. It was made out of hot dogs. Dude, what the hell? So if you thought people were angry whenever I blacked out the emblems on the Escalade, guess how angry they're gonna be after today's episode. So yes, we are lifting the Escalade. We're putting these wheels and tires on it. So these are Vossen something or another. It's a series of letters and numbers. I'll link to everything we used today down in the description, but the tire size is 285, 55, R22. And so if you put that into a tire calculator, it comes out to approximately a 34-inch tall tire, which is the same size that comes stock on a second-gen Raptor. So these are gonna be some big tires, and there's some reasons for that. So number one, I've never liked the wheels that came on the Escalade. This is just the trim package that we chose. That's what it came with. I don't like the two-tone of it. I also don't like that they sit like inboard of the body of the car, right? So it makes the car kind of look like, you know, fat man in a little coat syndrome. That guy in a little coat. And then if you look down here, my wife has been, she's been curbing the wheels. So these new wheels should also help with that. I could repair these wheels. I could paint them all black, and that's actually one of the options you can get from Cadillac is these wheels in all black. The thing is, I don't like them. I've seen other white Escalades with the black wheels on them. It just doesn't work for me, so we're not doing that. So these wheels and tires, they're bigger. So it's the same size wheel. It's a 22-inch wheel. The offset on the wheel is different. I think it's plus 18 or plus 20. Again, I'll link to it. So it's gonna bring the wheels farther out. They should sit flush with the edge of the car. And then the tires are also bigger. So we're gonna have more tread, more curb bashing ability. So hopefully she will not be curbing these wheels. And I think they have like one of these lips here that helps protect the rim. We're giving her all the defense we can. I did think about going down to a 20-inch wheel so we'd have even more tread or tire on the wheel. But actually I saw these on another YouTube channel somewhere and they looked pretty good, so we went with these. So yeah, they are, I think it's, what is it? It's like matte gray or matte gunmetal, something like that, but that's the color we chose. Again, I thought black on the white, it was too much black. So we went with that color. The lift kit, yeah, it's strange. So if you remember the Raptor lift kit, it's a bunch of springs, a bunch of stuff like that, but this lift kit is these little guys right here. And so what happens is you lift the car up, you weld these in place, and then it won't come down. No, that's not how it works. So the car has different ride height settings, right? So there is low entry exit clearance, there is normal clearance, and then there is high clearance. I forget what it's called. But what these guys do is they change the position of the ride height sensors, and so the car thinks it's all the way down or in the middle or wherever it is, but it's actually somewhere else. So these are going to make the car lift itself. It's just the airbags, it has the air ride, it will just make the car go up higher than it thinks it is. So these are adjustable. We are going to raise the Escalade just as much as we need to. There's gonna be a little fender trimming too, or I've done a little bit of reading on this, and I think you can actually move the fender liners forward a little bit. We'll see once we get up under there. And then the last piece of the equation is the exhaust. So I know you can get a sport exhaust system from Cadillac. We did not do that. And the thing is, the V8 doesn't sound like a V8. I can actually, when you fire this thing up, I feel like I can hear the pulleys and the belts over the exhaust note. So we need to change that. I get why they do it. It's a Cadillac, it's supposed to be quiet, refined, good ride, all that sort of stuff. But it has a V8. You need to know it has a V8 in there. So we have Borla exhaust system to go on the car. Borla does make two exhaust systems for this car. They make the loud one and the quieter one. We got the quieter one because this is my wife's ride. If it was mine and I daily drove it, I'd probably get the louder one, but we're gonna go with the quieter one for her. And so that's what we're gonna start with today is the exhaust system. We're going to try and stay away from the wall of failure here. I know last time I lifted a car, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna drink any pickle beer, but I did fail twice. And so we're gonna try and avoid that today, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, first step, we're gonna make this thing sound better. Second step, we're gonna make it look better, because up is better, and hopefully avoid curb rash. Here we go. All right, so the exhaust is in. Really not too bad as far as exhaust systems go. Getting it out was relatively easy. Putting it back in, not too bad. So I did admittedly glance at the instructions before I threw them away. They have some things wrong though. So number one, this the Y pipe right here, they tell you to put it in from the back of the car towards the front. Not gonna happen, physically not possible. It has to go in from the front of the car up through this little hole right here towards the back. One thing they just don't tell you is the exhaust hangers back here. They tell you to just pry them out. If you don't waste a half hour just prying and not making any progress, do that. But if you want to get them actually out, this bolt right here, 15 millimeter bolt, takes off the exhaust hanger, comes out so much easier. That should be in the instructions. But what does it sound like? All right, so the way this is gonna work, wheels, self-explanatory. The lift, this should be interesting. So these replace little arms on the suspension. So on the front, you've got these arms right there. And on the back, you've got this arm over here. And so what these do is they are adjustable. You can see the threads right there. And so in the front, if you shorten them, they raise the car. And in the back, if you lengthen them, they raise the car. Every 5 millimeters is supposed to be about 3/4 to an inch of height. So we're going to start by taking the stock arms off, making these aftermarket arms the same length. And then I think we're gonna start with an inch lift and see how that goes, see if we can turn the tires in the front. I think regardless of the level of lift, I think we're still gonna have to do some modifications, but we'll get the wheels and tires on, see how it looks with a 1-inch lift, and go from there. So for comparison purposes, we are starting at the middle ride height, the normal ride height. And right now our fender is approximately 36 3/4 inches off the ground. Rear is a little bit more, it's about 37 1/2. All right, so the wheels are on. They're definitely more aggressive, and admittedly they come out a little bit farther than I thought they would. They're like, I don't know, maybe almost an inch outside of the fender well now, which means it's gonna be a dirtier car, but it looks good anyway. We are rubbing pretty good, yeah. So this side definitely rubbing right there. The front rubs up in here on the fender liner. I did a little internet sleuthing. The front fender liner can be moved forward a little bit, should solve that. The rear fender liner, similarly, we can move that back, but we're gonna have to trim this plastic guy right there to give us a little bit more room. So up in the air, a little bit of cut and snipping, should fit. Oh, and we are at 39 inches now on the front fender and about 39 1/2 on the rear, so it's almost level. I put the car up in like increased height mode to see if raising it more would fix the rubbing issue. It does not. We're gonna have to trim anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that.
bottom of the bottle, I've been drowning, I've been floating away. Every other dollar that I got in bed, I probably went and it away. I'm f***ing okay, I ain't liking it, babe. I don't even wanna talk, I'm just smoking my haze. I've been stuck in my ways, I've been stuck here for days. I've been staring at the clock as the radio plays. I've been slayed. Yeah. Rolling another, I'm stuck in my seat for the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million things that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family. From a girl, every fan I meet myself. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make move off. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my devil when I do nothing. Make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, stop. Steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. My pain, my tears, sun coming out of that rain. My tape really not tame. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never behave. Yeah, I'm a slave for you.
So they fit, finally. That took a lot of trimming, putting the wheel back on, seeing if it fit, trimming some more. And then I finally went for a drive with it and it rubbed. You hit the brakes and you turned at the same time, then it would rub. So we trimmed a lot more than I thought I was gonna have to. So if you look down here on this side, we first had to cut the running boards. So they used to be straight right here, come at, I don't know, almost a 45-degree angle, and then plastic welded the end cap of the running board back on so they wouldn't get any water in them. And so the way we reattached the running board, we use this plastic welding gun right here. And what it does is it has these little metal things, and what they do is they go into the end of the gun here, pull the trigger, it heats up, and then you just melt it like right into the plastic. Undo the trigger, it'll cool down, and you can take it right off. And then we used our plastic melty iron thing to smooth everything out. There used to be more plastic up here. It is, well, it's now gone. I thought I was just gonna have to trim like a little bit right here, but we had to come all the way out to the very bottom of this trim piece right here. And I didn't want to take out the metal here, but there was this tab like right there, and it was just too much. It was getting in the way of the tire, so we had to slice that off. I did, the grinder kind of messed up the paint on here, so I sanded that all back down because it was starting to peel off, didn't want it to rust, and I repainted that. So a little bit of line with clear coat right there, but it'll be just fine. Nobody, I don't think, is gonna be looking inside of our fender well. Another thing we had to cut was this big bracket right here. So there is, behind the fender liner right here, there's a metal bracket. It looks like it connects like this part of the body right here to that part of the body. And there's an aftermarket place that will sell you a replacement bracket, but it doesn't connect these two parts of the body, just like bolts on right here, and then lets you tie the fender liner back there. So I thought it was better to just cut the stock bracket. That way it still holds the two parts of the body together. And then I just poked some new holes in the fender liner, put those stock bolts through, and it's holding it back enough to clear. And then on the front here, we really didn't have to do too much. There's places that will tell you you're gonna have to cut it, but you really don't have to do that. All I did was, see this bolt right here? There used to be a speed nut on the other side of it on this rubber piece right here, but instead what I did is I took the speed nut off the rubber piece, I put the speed nut on the fender liner. There's like a little V notch right there. I put it right in the middle of the V notch and then put the bolt back through, and it pulls the fender liner forward just enough that it doesn't rub anymore. I did have to go and get the Escalade aligned. Anytime you lift a car, you do have to get it aligned. And that's another thing, the lift bolt things, I don't know what they're called. They're so easy to put on, take off. It took like maybe 10 minutes to install a lift. And so we're about 39 inches high on the fender in the front, 39 and a half in the back. So we got almost 3 inches of lift, but 1 inch of that is from the tires because they're bigger. So 2 inches of lift from those little spinny lift things. Yeah, all you do, pop them off, pop them on, super easy. I think I used 12 full rotations from the stock height to get us almost 2 inches of lift. And I think that's where it's gonna stay. We could go a little bit higher. I think the lift kit is good for 2.5 inches, but it looks good here. It likes to be happy here. The fenders now fit, so I think this is where it's staying. All right, so we changed a lot of stuff, right? And you're probably wondering, how does that affect the cabin noise, ride quality, all that sort of stuff? So we lifted the truck. we put on wider tires, and as far as the ride quality goes, I can't tell a difference. The tire noise, if they are louder, I can't really tell. I've been like sitting here trying to notice if the tires are louder, but if they are, it's really subtle. You can't really tell. I think there's just so much sound deadening in the Escalade that it just, again, kind of cancels it out. It doesn't let it in. The exhaust note, I think we made a good choice going with the touring exhaust and not the sport one or whatever it's called. For my wife anyways, if this was my daily driver, I would probably go with the more aggressive exhaust note. So like when you're just driving around town, keeping speed, you can't really hear it at all. It doesn't sound any different. But then when you get on it, you can hear the exhaust. No, I'm not done yet.
You're not done yet?
No, I'm kind of done.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think she likes her birthday present.
I do. I like my birthday present a lot.
So, not sorry for anyone who doesn't like a lifted Escalade. I think it turned out really good. I mean, it may need like a light bar or something now. So until next time, I only have one question, which is, who wants an oil-soaked hot dog? That is already going moldy. See you later. Now you see what's gonna happen is I'm gonna forget these hot dogs are in here. Then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna empty my used oil into this container. I'm gonna take it to the auto parts store. Somebody's gonna take it into the back, into the oil dump bin. They're gonna dump it out, and a whole bunch of hot dogs are gonna come out. They're gonna say, what the hell? I was trying to do a pretend fall, and I actually fell. Gonna need a minute.